Hi there and welcome to Ambitious Single Moms, Stories of Strength and Success. I'm Sonja from Your Success Story, Single Mom Level Up Edition, and I'm thrilled to have you here with us today. I'm a mother of 3 wonderful daughters, and when my husband separated from me in 2017, he moved out on a Sunday and the next morning my mother died unexpectedly. During this time, I was although in the middle of chemotherapy. Suddenly, I'm all alone with 3 small children. As a single mom and a businesswoman, I know firsthand how challenging and rewarding this journey can be. When I first became a single mom, I felt overwhelmed and uncertain about the future. But through support and consistency, I've managed to build a life that I'm proud of, both for myself and my 3 children. This podcast is all about celebrating the incredible stories of ambitious single moms who are not only raising their children with love and dedication, but also pursuing their dreams and building successful businesses. Each episode, we will dive into their journeys, exploring the heights and lows, the lessons learned, and the strategies they've used to overcome challenges. My goal is to inspire, motivate, and provide valuable insights for all the amazing single moms out there who are striving to create a better future for themselves and their families. Remember, you are not alone on this journey, and there are endless possibilities when you take charge of your life. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Ambitious Single Moms, Stories of Strength and Success. I'm your host, Sonja and I'm beyond excited to introduce our amazing guest today. Joining us is Michele Meza from Oklahoma. Hello, Michele.
Hey, Sonja, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. It's very hot here in Germany. And how are you?
Good, good. It's hot here in the States as well. August is Oklahoma's hottest month, so we're just trying to survive until it turns into fall.
Yes. So you are also a single mom. That's why I have you here today on the podcast. Thank you that you're prepared to share your story and your insights. And yeah, we just spoke about what topic we are going to talk today, and we decided on you are not just a mom. So why
It,
is this topic so important for you?
it really touches my soul. Not only have I felt that way, and as moms, especially single moms, we are so great at, managing everything and doing everything for everyone else that we kind of fall into this identity of being just a mom. And so even when people introduce us, oh, that's so and so's mom, or this is my mom, different things like that. And over the last few weeks, I've been, just in women groups, talking about mom things, and that's what they said. I had asked the lady what she did, and she was like, "Oh, I'm just a mom. I
Mhm.
don't really do anything special. I'm just a mom." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're so much more than just a mom." And then that led into a really deep conversation, and just hearing other people's experience. It as single moms, like with me, I've been a single mom for 11 years now. And with my oldest, with the exception of a brief marriage, I was basically a single mom with her since she was 3 weeks old. And so, you know, when we're going through things or we're going through life and we're just kind of in autopilot or survival mode, we tend to just focus on just being a mom, like we're a nobody, and it, to me, it seems like how I've felt in the past is my problems only feel like my problems. And I think that you know through your podcast and other platforms, I really think that we are trying to break that barrier of not talking about things, because as women, society kind of grooms us and programs us into like staying silent. And we just don't talk about it because, like, in my culture and, in my age group, it's a sign of weakness. But that's not it at all, and so I'm glad we're talking about it today so we can really dive deep into it and really encourage the other single moms out there that you're not just a mom.
Yeah, thank you for choosing that topic. And of course, we have moms who love being a mom, and it's okay to just be a mom. Not everybody has, or every woman or mom has to be a businesswoman, has to do great things for the world. It's okay to be just a mom. But like you told the story from that woman, it felt like she was very sad in her heart that she is just a nobody, just a mom. And yeah, as you said, it's so important to speak about that. And we also spoke about it, that women or single moms have a label. And yeah, when we got divorced and start being a single mom, then we forget ourselves even more because we don't have the time to look at ourselves and explore ourselves and what we would love to be and what we want to express. And as you said, nobody's talking about that. Most of the time, people don't have deep talks. So it's just on the surface, but not really a deep talk, what really bothers us.
Right. And after I left that conversation that day, I was just kind of taken back. First of all, that someone else felt the way I have felt in the past. And sometimes I still feel that way, and I have to ground myself and bring myself back and, um, talk to myself, give myself a pep talk and remind myself of who I am and that it's okay to, like we all go through seasons of life and everybody knows that, but you don't, if you stop and just really pause and think about that statement, every season has a different place and we play a different role in every season. And like you said, it's okay just to be a mom. My mom was okay not having a career. When my dad was in and out of our life, she was okay with just getting jobs to survive. Her main focus was to get us raised. And I really feel like, she, even though life kind of broke her down towards the end, I really feel like, she really dove into her purpose and she was completely fine with it. And I just want to, say to women out there who's listening, like, it's okay to be that. You're still Superwoman. You brought life into this world, and that alone is amazing. And I think that we just need to stop and pause and really look at ourselves and our accomplishments. And our accomplishments can mean different things to different women. It doesn't, society has a great way of, like you said, putting labels on us and telling us like, oh, well, you're not special unless you do this, or you're not extravagant unless you climb to the top of the corporate ladder. And that's just simply not true.
Yeah, it's just been this week that I spoke to a woman about the topic that there are women who stay at home, care for the kids. They don't own money, and they have to ask if they can buy a trouser or if they can buy a coaching program, because they think it's not their money, the money the husband earns. And for me, it's a no-go, because the woman stays at home. She does a very great job, and it's a hard work as well, household and kids. And then some women think, okay, I don't have my own money and I have to ask for the money because I didn't work for it. And that's, for me, yeah, it's I can't understand that. And I think there we need a new mindset for the women.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you nailed it right there. And, I've helped women transition from being stay-at-home moms back into the workforce. And that's the one thing that I really focus on is their mindset. And, you know, I have to paint them a picture and remind them that they are the CEOs of their household. They run it. You know, you've got time management skills, balancing, you know, kids and their schedules and your schedules. And if you're married, your husband's schedule. If you're a single mom, like your audience, you know, like us, you know, we manage everything. And that is a big deal. And that is also a transferable skill. And a lot of women don't realize that. And I know I've been there. I was a stay-at-home mom for just a very short period of time when I was married. And I felt like I felt inferior at first.
Mhm.
For one, I wasn't used to that. You know, I've always worked ever since I was 14 years old. But, you know, it got to the point to where I thought that I wasn't worthy of the money just because he went out and actually had the job. But really, it was our money. And so
Okay.
just that mindset shift, you know, of thinking, oh, you know, well, it's not my money. I have to ask for everything. That's just simply not the case. Now, in certain situations, like with my ex-husband, it was the dynamics were a little different, you know, stressed. So I did have to ask for everything. But,
Mhm.
you know, I'm here to remind women and be your voice to remind you that you are worthy. And
Yeah.
it's okay to be that stay-at-home mom. You have tons of skills that you do on the daily that you don't even realize that you have.
Yeah. So I think most of the single moms are not a stay-at-home mom anymore because they have to work. So yeah, but I think there is still the topic of self-worth that so many women in general, not only the single moms, lack of self-worth. And I once read a quote or a sentence saying, if you should write everything down you love, when would you mention yourself? And I thought, oh, I wouldn't have mentioned myself at all because I wouldn't have thought about that I could write me at the first, at the top of my list. Um, and yeah, I think that most of the people don't think of them at the first, in the first place, that they are the most important person in their life.
Right. And, you know, I also felt that way for the longest time. And then I realized that through self-care, through, you know, shifting my mind over, getting past the mom guilt of, oh, if I have time, an hour to myself, and I don't go and take care of this, or I don't come home and clean up the house, and, you know, after I cook dinner, different things like that, then, you know, I can just put myself to the side. And that's simply not true. I became a better mother when I really examined the whole person part of me, the mind, body, and soul. And I really realized, like, oh my gosh, like you said, like I didn't even put myself on the list, let alone, you know, me being at the bottom of the list. So that was an eye-opening experience for me. And it really made me dig deep and really do a deep dive and dig deeper into what I liked. And I realized, like, I stopped doing all the things that I like to do. And a lot of that didn't even involve going out of my house. I love to garden. I love the water, different things like that. And we live near one of the biggest lakes in Oklahoma.
Mhm.
And I didn't even think for a second to go enjoy doing something myself. You
Mhm.
know, even if it's, you know, there's a meme going around social media about sitting in your car after a long day, and it just does something to your soul, right? And I was thinking about that, like, what if we dedicated, you know, 15 minutes to an hour, you know, a week, just start off with, you know, once a week, dedicating that time to ourselves and journaling and
Mhm.
and really thinking, like, what do I like? What are my hobbies? What sets my soul on fire besides being a mother, being a provider as a single mom, different things like that. So, and I love to cook too. And I realized through this self-discovery that I like to cook.
Mhm.
And I never really thought I had time to cook, you know, because after 11 years, you know, my kids were really small and it was a challenge. You know, there's things that, I didn't start off putting myself first when they were little, obviously, because they demanded more of my time. But I just started journaling. That's kind of where
Mhm.
it started, through therapy, and really thinking about, like, what does Michele want?
Mhm.
What do I like? What do I not like to do? And
Mhm.
then it really got me thinking about my friends, community groups, and how can I insert those things that I love in a given week while balancing kids and work and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, most of the time we are thinking about what we don't want and what we don't like. And all the day we complain and say, oh, I have to do this and that again. But we don't focus on what we really want. And I think the problem is that we don't know what we really want. And that's a good idea to start taking time, half an hour or an hour. And I think that should be possible for everybody. Yeah, that you take time and really sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and just start writing what were your childhood dreams, for example. It's funny that we are speaking about this topic because I had a keynote about that on Monday, a 2-minute keynote, and the topic was I Have a Dream from Martin Luther King. And because I had a time where I had no vision for myself. I was very ill with cancer, and I said I want to live for my kids until I realized that I should want to live for myself. But I didn't know, okay, what do I want in life? And for me, it was a big issue to find out what is it really that fulfills me. And I think that's a problem for most of the women. Um, they start living for their kids and forget themselves. So, yeah, it's about childhood dreams and what you also said. What do you really love to do? What do you think is fun for you? What do you like? And of course, maybe if you find someone who inspires you, where you say, okay, she or he did this and that, I want to try that as well. So yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. And I love how you mentioned your keynote speech, I Have a Dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing when you ask yourself just simple questions, a lot of things will come up, right? Because let's be honest, we don't lose our identity overnight. We don't lose who we are overnight. And I realized about 6 months after I left my ex-husband, that's when I discovered I had completely lost myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like I hid the pain that from my strained relationship with my husband. I poured it into my kids, or I
Mm-hmm.
poured it into sewing, because I had to make their outfits and stuff. Just different things like that. Like I just realized, like, it doesn't happen overnight. A lot of people think that I hear a lot of women say, I just don't understand how I got here. I don't understand how I got to this place of solitude and just where I'm at, to where I don't know myself anymore. Well, it doesn't happen overnight. Just like success doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
Yeah, it just kind of slowly happens. You get busy with kids and activities and your routine, and sticking to the routine and thinking about the next day and the next week and next year. And then before you know it, you've let everything that you were once passionate about just kind of fall to the wayside. So yeah, and I'm not a morning person, because I get this question a lot too. Like, okay, well, Michele, that's great. How do I even start with that 30 minutes to an hour? And what I did, I'm not a morning person, so I did that at night.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was exhausted. Some nights I literally like fell asleep on the journal. So some nights that didn't happen, but I think it's really, really important to give yourself grace, right? We
Yeah.
give other people grace, we give our children grace, but we just kind of forget to give ourselves grace. And that was the learning lesson. That was the lesson for me, is just really giving myself grace. Like, it's okay. It's okay if you didn't allow time for your thoughts, and sometimes I had my alone time in the shower. I mean, given the situation and how small your kids are and how busy your life is, that's kind of where it started with me. Then it moved to, I started with 2 nights a week, and I literally just journal for 15 minutes. I was kind of adamant because I didn't give myself grace. I like set a timer and for 15 minutes. And sometimes I was either so depleted from the day or the situation or whatever emotions I was going through, I only had 1 to 2 sentences to write down. But then as I started, continuing to do it and showing up for myself,
Yeah.
that's when everything started coming together and the paradigm shift in my brain kind of reset. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, you can do this. And I just started getting more confident in who I was and rediscovering who I was. And I'm like, okay, I'm not Jada and Gianna's mom, just a mom, right? I'm their mom, yes, but I'm Michele. And
Yes.
I have a lot of passionate projects, and I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish in this life.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, everybody has a calendar in the mobile phone, and we schedule so many appointments for our kids, for work and other things, but there's no me time most of the time. And can relate to that. I'm not a morning person as well, though I meditate at 11 p.m. And sometimes I'm tired, but I do it because I do it every evening, most of the time, if I'm not traveling or somewhere else. So because that's important for me, and I know how good it feels to do it. And yeah, and journaling, it's so important to write gratitude for everything, because by doing gratitude and grace at everything, you get into another frequency. And at the beginning, we spoke about, we have our negative thoughts. We only see what we don't have and what we don't like, but we need a shift in our frequency. And as soon as we were able to turn that, everything gets easier. That's my experience.
Does. And, I think the other thing is showing up for yourself consistently. You show up for others, you show up for your kids, they depend on you, and you have to be able to depend on yourself as well. Even if you're tired, show up tired. Show up if you're emotional, if things, happen throughout the day, or you're just going through a difficult season, or maybe it's your health that you're struggling with, show up. Just show up and be consistent, and you'll see over time. I remember starting the gratitude, just practicing gratitude, and one of my most, oh gosh, that was a really rough season. I remember it like it's yesterday, but then it just kind of seems like so many years ago. But I had a really rough season. I just lost my mom. She was my best friend, to cancer, and I was her caregiver and being a single mom. So you can imagine what that was like. And it was just, there were a lot of things I just didn't understand. And I got stuck in that. Why us? Why her? Why did this happen? Why do bad things keep happening to me? But I realized that was really, um, suppressing my those negative thoughts and emotions were suppressing my body, and I become oppressed. Like, I literally was just paralyzed with everything, every kind of, you have grief, you have anger, all these things, and then before you know it, I was down physically, and I kind of teetered back and forth with that, and I was like, something's got to give, and it's not me. So a friend of mine had mentioned gratitude, practicing gratitude. So that's kind of where I started meditation and just thanking God or creator for life, for my breath, for our health, for my children. And that's just kind of where that started. And I practice gratitude to this day, especially on those hard days. I do not skip that. I don't care if you're in mid sentence and you're just like, I'm thankful. It doesn't have to be this extravagant thing, you can literally just take a deep breath and exhale and say, I'm thankful.
Yeah.
And you, like you said, you will notice if you really start paying attention to your body, you'll notice that physical shift. And the only description I have with that is you just feel lighter. It just kind of feels like, how someone presses down on your shoulders and then releases their arms or their hands.
Mhm.
That's how it felt for me. So I started really paying attention to that.
Michele, I want to thank you for sharing that story, also the story with your mom. And ladies out there, wherever you are in the world, it's so important to realize that you can manage everything and it's never the end, because I had a similar experience. I had cancer myself. My mom died and my husband left me, and it was all at the same moment. And I had 3 kids. I still have. And yeah, look at us, ladies. Stand up for yourself and start practicing gratitude. Start changing your mindset. Start working on yourself. It's all about personal development, working on yourself and starting with self-worth. And it's never the end. It's just the beginning from everything. Every day is a new day. And there are so many opportunities, doors open. Also, whenever you said, why is it always happening to me and all that stuff, yes, there's a lot, and we could speak days and hours about that. And there are explanations for every situation, but you shouldn't let the situation pull you down or, get you on the ground, because you should stand up every time and look for new opportunities and see the good in everything.
Absolutely. You said it best. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
Thank you that you were here. Michele, you are also a businesswoman. I want to ask you to share what you're doing and if you're offering your services worldwide via online, or do you only work offline, or what is it that you're doing?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. So I am a certified mindset and business coach. So I help people, especially women, restore and transform their minds. And I focus on the whole-centered person. So we dig deep into those thought processes and emotions and really do something about it to transform into change, And then, so I help entrepreneurs at all stages. Either you're thinking about doing a side hustle, transitioning from being a stay-at-home mom into the workforce, or you're wanting to start a business, I can help with that. And I do have some coaching programs. I work with clients worldwide, so I've worked with a few in different countries. And you can find all of that information on my website, and that's at luksiconsulting.com, and that's LUKSI consulting.com. I also offer strategy sessions for marketing. So I majored in my undergrad in marketing. I also have my MBA. So aside from, almost 30 years in the business field and my coaching certifications, I am educated. So I have helped people in their careers and in their businesses during all walks of life for many years. So I'm excited. It's what gets me up and out of bed in the mornings, and I just love seeing transformation in people, and it just really excites me, and it just ignites a fire in my soul.
Okay, thank you, Michele. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Ambitious Single Moms Stories of Strength and Success. It's been an absolute pleasure having Michele share her incredible journey and insights with us today. I hope you found her story as inspiring and empowering as I did. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts or any questions you have for our guest. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. All the links and additional resources about Michele and myself can be found in the show notes below. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue bringing you amazing content. Until next week, stay strong, stay inspired, and keep thriving. See you in the next episode.
Thank you for joining us on Ambitious Single Moms, Stories of Strength and Success. Let's embark on this journey together and rediscover the magic in our lives. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode.